Hi, I'm Mark. Today we talk about Lisbon, 1888. A city built on steep hills, shaped by the river below and the routines of thousands of ordinary lives. Today, we are stepping into a single, unremarkable day, not of kings or revolutions, but of dock workers, shopkeepers, seamstresses, and families who gave this city its rhythm. This is Lisbon at the end of the 19th century, where work begins early. Streets are alive with sound, and daily life unfolds slowly between home, labor, and the river. For the next few minutes, we'll move through this city from morning to night, observing how people lived, worked, dressed, and shared space in a time just before modern life arrived. Morning in Lisbon begins quietly, well before the streets fill with voices. In small homes clustered along the hills, families wake to the sound of footsteps above and below them, carried easily through thin walls. Light enters through narrow windows, illuminating tiled floors and simple wooden furniture. The city stretches vertically, and each morning starts with the physical effort of moving up or down its slopes. Clothing is practical and layered, chosen for long days rather than comfort. Men dress in worn trousers, vests, and caps, while women fasten long skirts and shawls before stepping outside. Fabrics are heavy and durable, often repaired many times over. Each garment reflects routine labor rather than fashion, shaped by weather, terrain, and necessity. As the city wakes, the hills funnel people toward their daily work. Some descend toward the river, others remain in neighborhood workshops or markets. Movement is slow but constant, shaped by gravity and routine. Every path in Lisbon eventually leads either upward toward home or downward toward labor. Small neighborhood bakeries and shops open early, serving nearby residents before the larger markets come alive. Bread is a daily anchor of life, purchased fresh each morning. Conversations are brief and familiar, exchanged between people who see one another every day. These early hours belong to routine, not urgency. Above it all, church bells mark the passing of time, audible across neighborhoods. They provide structure to the day, signaling work, prayer, and rest. In a city of steep streets and uneven schedules, sound becomes a shared clock. Morning in Lisbon is not rushed, it unfolds patiently, one step at a time. By late morning, Lisbon streets grow louder and more crowded. The hills funnel people toward central streets and open squares where trade and work concentrate. Voices overlap in multiple directions, mixing with the sounds of carts, tools, and animals. This is the busiest part of the day, when labor reaches its steady rhythm. Markets serve as the city's social and economic heart. Fish from the river and coast arrives early, laid out on wooden tables as vendors call out prices. Produce, bread, and dried goods fill baskets and sacks. Transactions are quick, familiar, and essential, repeated daily without ceremony. Craftsmen work openly along the streets, their labor visible to passers-by. Shoemakers, metalworkers, and carpenters shape materials by hand, using tools worn smooth through years of use. Their workshops often spill onto the sidewalk, blending work and public space. The rhythm of tools becomes part of the city's soundscape. Near the river, dock workers unload goods arriving by boat. Barrels, crates, and sacks are moved by hand, stacked carefully along the quayside. The work is physical and repetitive, shaped by tides and daylight. The river defines Lisbon's economy, pulling labor toward its edge each day. Women contribute equally to the city's labor, often balancing work with household responsibilities. Some sell goods at markets. Others take in sewing or laundering. Their labor is steady and largely unacknowledged, yet essential to daily life. Work in Lisbon is not confined to one place, it flows between home, street, and market. As the sun climbs higher, movement slows slightly. People seek shade beneath awnings or within doorways. Conversations grow shorter, and work becomes more deliberate. Late morning in Lisbon carries the weight of effort, balanced carefully against heat and fatigue. The afternoon in Lisbon is shaped by endurance rather than urgency. Work resumes after brief pauses, slower but still continuous. Heat settles into the stone streets, and movements become economical. The city does not stop, it adapts. Inside workshops, artisans continue their craft away from the sun. The air smells of wood shavings, leather, and oil. Light enters through small windows, illuminating hands rather than faces. Skill and repetition guide every movement. In public squares, social life quietly continues alongside work. Children pass through on errands. Elderly residents sit in the shade observing the day. Conversation is unhurried, often practical, sometimes familiar. These shared spaces anchor the rhythm of the neighborhood. Food preparation begins well before evening. Bakers tend ovens. Cooks prepare simple meals meant to sustain rather than impress. Ingredients are limited, routines familiar. The afternoon smells of bread, oil, and warm stone. Near the river, labor continues steadily. Boats arrive and depart, timed with tides rather than clocks. The afternoon light glints off water and worn wood. The river remains a constant presence, linking Lisbon to trade, travel, and survival. As afternoon advances, fatigue becomes visible but accepted. Work slows without stopping. The city's pace adjusts naturally, shaped by climate, tradition, and necessity. Lisbon moves toward evening not abruptly, but patiently. Evening in Lisbon arrives gradually, carried by shifting light rather than sound. Work concludes not with signals, but with shared understanding. Shops close their doors, tools are set aside, and streets begin to soften. The city exhales after a long day. Families gather inside modest homes as daylight fades. Meals are simple, often shared from common dishes. Conversation fills small rooms, steady and familiar. These moments anchor daily life more than any public ritual. Outside, lanterns begin to glow along narrow streets. Their light creates small islands of visibility within the dark. Movement slows further. Footsteps become deliberate. Night reorganizes the city into silence and shadow. Public space is empty, but not completely. A few figures remain, watchful, unhurried. The night belongs to rest, not activity. Lisbon quiets without fully sleeping. As night deepens, most of the city withdraws indoors. Doors close, Windows darken, and sound recedes. Lisbon becomes a network of sleeping rooms and quiet streets. Time slows almost completely. Only essential movement remains: guards, late workers, or travelers. Their presence is brief and purposeful. The city tolerates motion, but no longer invites it. Night restores balance through stillness. A day in Lisbon in 1888 is not marked by events, but by continuity. Life unfolds through work, rest, and shared spaces shaped by routine and necessity. These ordinary hours reveal a city defined not by moments of change, but by the steady persistence of daily life. In this rhythm, Lisbon endures.